the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
On the mic with Mike.
I'm on the mic with Mike. He's like a guru.
No, he's a businessman with a great radio show.
And he supports the non-profits.
Watch his show and grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike King here. This is part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 International Business Growth Radio, as well as the Hounds of Business. Also with CW Richmond TV, you see some of the interviews there. Okay, so everybody knows I rock with the best who's out there. Michelle Rollins is in the building, but she didn't roll solo. She got 2/3 of her tribe who's here. Normally, so people know Parker Rollins is my guy. You know, he's a radio personality. He's in studio. But he's normally here. We're going to talk to him a little bit. But he got the big brother here. So we got the man on the way to West Point. Yes, we do. Alrighty, so Hunter's here with us. So Michelle, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me again.
So your husband said you were tropical today.
I am.
Thank you for husband and wifely support. That's what we do.
Yes.
Yes, it is. You know, there's military. So I met my wife in the Army 43 years ago. Shout out to Uncle Sam for being a matchmaker, all the way from Fort Riley, Kansas. So the military is all in your family.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So people know you as the woman who is tied to the military.
Yes.
But there's so much more. And
Yes.
we're going to talk about that really quickly to start explaining to people from a business standpoint what you do. We just did the Comcast Rise. Mm-hmm. And you're letting people know they had the grant process. And I heard there were 696 applications put in.
Yes.
And 100 will win.
Yes.
That's good numbers.
Yes.
That's very good numbers. But people said that the application was easy. And then people were like, it's not that easy.
Yes.
You talked a little bit about, okay, it's easy, but what you need to do to be successful in writing grants and doing all those things. Really quickly, tell people who Michelle Rollins is, and then we're going to talk about some of the business stuff.
Yes. So my name is Michelle Rollins. I am a fundraising professional grant writer. That details so much more than just those couple things that describe it. It would be trainer, coach, teacher, writer, just being able to be that community partnership leader. And a lot of times organizations are looking for people that can help them bring more funding and more opportunity. And that's where I come in. I have a lot of leadership executive directors that come to me and ask me, can you help train me on how to write a grant? Can you help me with finding more opportunities for donors and build relationships, because that's not my strongest point. So that's where I come in, and I help so many different organizations, and I align my purpose with the different organizations that I represent.
So we were on a call the other day, and we were talking about purpose and order and all those things. And they kind of wanted to know whether it was people about...
Yes.
Me and you kind of had the same thought.
Yes.
Yes. And none of the other people came from the military.
Yes.
The military does not care.
No.
The military does not care.
No.
This is a process. We have done it this way.
Yes.
And this is the way we're going to do it.
Yes. So it was about processes. Processes pretty much, controlling the people as far as just kind of leading people as opposed to people leading processes. So I think we were with an agreement. We kind of helped the wheels turn a little bit and made people think on that one.
It is. So when you talk to a number of people out there, what are people getting wrong with the grant writing process?
Like you heard at the event, a lot of people think it's an easy process, and it's not. Whether it's a small amount of money or a big amount of money, it all has requirements, and sometimes those requirements get overlooked. The wrong documents get submitted, and then putting a great proposal together is a really big piece of the pie, and that's not as easy as many would think, and you can't wait to the last minute. You need to build and foster those relationships prior to actually even submitting the grant.
So you do a lot on Fort Greg Adams. You do a number of that. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about how people see you there, and then people realize that you do other things besides you're just part. Because you're like we talked about, No wonder you're a veteran. You've been there. You've been there. Now you're a military spouse. You have a unique perspective about this ain't a 9 to 5. No.
No.
What time are you getting off, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weekends, it's just what it is.
No. And I tell people, okay, and this is a little side note right here. When people tell me they hate a job, I tell them no. You don't hate it, because if you hate it, you can leave.
Yes.
And no one is going to stop you at the door and stop you from leaving.
Right.
Whereas the military, you sign an agreement that says on June 11th, you're done. Well, when June 11th shows up, you might not be done.
Right? And even when you retire, you still have an obligation.
Yes, because they came to me and said, hey, you're invited to a party. And I said, no, thank you. And they said that wasn't a request.
Yes.
That was not a request. So the idea of it is military people see things in a different way. It helps you from a structural standpoint and order, and allows you to flourish in the civilian world, because when everyone else is shooting from the hip, military people don't. There's a code of honor, and we're going to talk to your son about that right there. There's a code of honor, ethics, and how to do things that military people operate under. And when people don't, you look at them weird, like, yo, you didn't get the memo? We don't do that.
Right. So you asked me about how people see me at Fort Gregg and where I play that role and how it leads into what I do. So as far as Fort Gregg, Adams, it's just one piece of my military story and our journey. But I play a lot of different hats in a lot of different ways all these years. I've represented family programs. I was a liaison. I actually helped start a nonprofit for the military, for our families, worked on, establishing the EIN numbers, which a lot of people have a hard time doing in the beginning. And then, having those fundraising events, in charge and leading the trainings and helping with mental wellness and mental health and wellness, and helping our morale in our military, our soldiers, with our families. And not only did I get a glimpse of not only active duty, but reservists, AGR, civilian, because a lot of units are together like that. And before that, it kind of led into other ways where we help our military families where they're going through challenges and hardships. And, these have been fostered for a very long time. I've carried these roles for years, and I grant write for the different nonprofits on Fort Gregg, and I'm known as kind of the resource person, because even after I stopped carrying some roles, I still get those calls from service members. Can you help me? I've provided, groceries when I have a soldier that's in a different state and can't get groceries. It makes my problems, it kind of takes my problems away and helps, make a difference in the world. And before I was in those roles, I actually was serving as a veteran. Before that, I served, one of my first nonprofits I ever volunteered for was the Special Olympics. It really took a family member that has a special need that really was an impact on my life when I was a young person. That kind of was the building block to where I am today. And when I served in nonprofits, I wanted to then serve our country and go big. And I thought it was going to be forever. But I had an unexpected setback. I have an incurable tumor, which led to a lot of surgeries, treatments, testing, a lot of hardship for my family, which kind of led us as a whole to look at the bigger picture of impact, and led us to helping with the Ronald McDonald House for a long time, because we had to travel out of state to Johns Hopkins for my health, so we learned to give back.
The importance of that.
Yes. A lot of my journey is different parts that I played in these nonprofits, and then into my bigger roles in education. I came out and had to figure out what my passion was, serving, and I went into education, was a school teacher, an English teacher, special ed teacher. I found that I was actually helping students that were experiencing their own challenges with fundraising, when their parents would overdose or they would lose a parent. Or I had children that were in gangs, unfortunately, and I went out of my way to find ways to help with resources. I went up beyond the school book to help my students, and I taught middle school and high school. So I'm really big about that impact and changing our communities for the better. And that's really what led me to my roles at Fort Gregg even more. I've always been in a coaching role, a teacher role, in a leadership role. And so it made sense when I was in my military role and I did something that was outside the box, that wasn't the norm for the military. That was really what sat with me when something I did, because military go with trainers on everything. And I worked with a leadership team, a commander, colonel, general, and our JAG team to produce an amazing mental health wellness training on suicide awareness with a good friend of mine that had her husband commit suicide. And we talked and I coached her on how to come off on the training and how to speak where, you could be open and honest, but have a platform to allow them to discuss it. And it went national and it helped her heal. And I knew then that I needed to continue my work, not only in the military and veteran role, because those roles are important to me, because I am a veteran with health, with a very rare health condition and many surgeries under my belt, that it's important to help not only them, but also our civilians out there, our children, our younger generations, parents that are dealing with special needs children as well, because I understand those challenges, having a family member that, that is dealing with those. So those have come up to be a piece with my family. It's like a superpower. And these are only two with me, but they've gotten to volunteer at a young age. He was pushing the food cart at just 2.5 years old. And he's been volunteering since he's been 7 or 8 years old. And the relationships that he's fostered and we fostered as a family have really helped him in his journey to get here with West
Today.
Point.
There you go. So Michelle